Hey people, not Seth here. Fasten your seatbelts, take a shot or 5 of quality moonshine that makes you go blind, take a pack of Benadryl, and rev up that engine, cause peak just dropped. If you ask me what the best arcade racer made in the last few years before this game released, it would have been a different answer. Now, it's definitely this game. This is the new Tokyo Xtreme Racer. What is Tokyo Xtreme Racer? It's a highway battle game. This ain't your Assetto Corsa. You see, this game is actually good. Neither is it a Gran Turismo 7. You see, this game is actually good.
It starts instantly. There was no build-up.
It's purely arcade crackheadness, and I love it for what it is. If you don't know what this franchise is, watch my previous video. It explains it all well. First off, you might ask yourself, is this game really that good? CKT Racing, for your sequel that hasn't been released in years, you don't need to make an online slop to do well. Oh, you're seemingly not doing so well. I'm happy to say that Tokyo Xtreme Racer is a banger game that still has what made old TXR games good, with amazing quality of life improvements that simply make the game one of the best Tokyo Xtreme Racers in the franchise. Starting off, this game is beautiful. No, seriously, it is genuinely great looking. Now granted, it is mostly because it's on Unreal Engine 5 and it's set at night, but Genki has cooked with visuals. Additionally, Genki has cooked extremely when it comes to optimization. This is unironically the best optimized Unreal Engine 5 game. Stuttering is a thing that very rarely occurred, but I ran the game at high and stable frame rate. Additionally, Silent, yes, the guy that does silent patches, ran this game on a GTX 550 Ti at 60 FPS. Sure, he had to play it at 640 by 480 at lowest settings, but I can bet that no other Unreal Engine 5 game could be able to do it at all. Again, this is genuinely shocking. Another shocking thing is that TAA is not forced, unlike in pretty much every other Unreal Engine 5 game. You can pick FXAA, TAA, TSR, and DLSS if you're on an Nvidia card. The fact that I'm not forced to use TAA is a welcome addition. One thing you should do is set global illumination to medium, as high and ultra use Unreal Engine's Lumen system, which kills frames. Additionally, the vibe of this game is just amazing. Riding on the one gun has never looked so better. The color tones, the cool stuff in the background, the tunnels, it is just amazing. The handling is great. Its responsiveness can be scaled so the game can be crackhead twitchy or slower like Need for Speed games. Additionally, the sense of speed is quite superb. The music is purely consisted of remastered music from old TXR games, and my god. No, seriously, this shit's peak. Every music got either retouched like Monomer, got completely remixed like Nightfly, or completely reworked like Jumpin' Jammin', which it doesn't even sound like its original counterpart in the slightest, but it's still amazing. And every single one of those tracks are just, dare I say, the best renditions of the franchise. Battle of the Empire was perfect in Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3, and this game has the exact same version of it. You can't improve on perfection. Stuff like the win combo has returned. The more consecutive wins you get, the higher the combo is. The combo caps out at 20 wins, which gives you a 100% bonus on races. In fact, one part I was skeptical about, the passive COD points grind, is great. It's not huge, but in cases of you needing just a little bit of cash, it's a nice and easy way to get a bit extra. You can earn cash by doing near misses, which give you the least amount, a 1000 credit score. Drifting, which can range from 5,000 at the least to, from my experience, 30,000 bottle caps, or long runs. You have to travel around 25 to 30 kilometers to get the points, but it's a 6-digit payout. It's a pretty cool feature that I found not too intrusive actually. The new perk system is cool. Battling rivals that isn't traffic, which you can race by the way, which for those who just started the game, go race a taxi. It's really nice and cool. Oh, I was at battle points. Yeah, racing rivals gives you battle points, 1 point per rival. Most perk unlocks require 3 points, except Wallet and Garage Expansion, which require a singular point. You can unlock perks that You can pick one of attack or defend upgrades, which makes you more of a menace, whilst also making comebacks more possible. You can unlock cars or parts with the battle points, and each tier, which there are 3 of, can be unlocked after beating certain bosses. It's a cool feature, but there are a few huge drawbacks which I will touch upon later. Racing is mainly the same, which I enjoy. It's simple night running. Ha ha ha! Where you race and mostly relax as you race other rivals, with banging tunes and great looking rivals. A cool new feature is that there is now drafting, which isn't super noticeable, but it's noticeable enough where it can be beneficial. The parking areas have returned and are spread around the map, which is Tokyo Xtreme Racer Zero sized. One huge difference is that the game now shows you people that have info on Wanderers. Additionally, when you get introduced to Mr. Mechanic, at certain parking areas, you get an offer for a 1-day tune where you get basically more power to your car. Wanderers are great. They do have requirements, but just like I said, the spectators actually have info on Wanderers, which means that you don't have to have the GameFAQ page opened alongside the game, because the in-game descriptions are good. Additionally, the Wanderer requirements are not complete bullshit, so they are not locked behind stupid requirements like you having to honk while driving in first on a certain part of the map. Yes, I am looking at you, Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3. You can also tell which rival is which on the minimap, as they all have separate icons. That also brings me to a cool new feature. While the menus are a bit of a mess, a cool system is that before you spawn, you can check a list of rivals, and by selecting a rival, the game will choose the closest spawn point to the rival. Bad names return, but now you can choose between picking the new bad name or keeping the old one, since the new one is probably quite shameful. And don't worry, bad names are still funny. Granted, the naming of the rivals in this game is unintentionally funny. Car tuning is back, and whilst it's not as extensive like the older games, it's still pretty extensive. The aero modifications look great, with licensed parts looking especially cool. Setting options are also kinda extensive. You can again race out your car like it's early 2000s. The livery system is familiar if you played something like modern Need for Speed games. It's a step forward when it comes to simplicity and accessibility compared to the old games, but it's also a step back compared to the games before Importuner Challenge, where you could draw freely. Granted, it was also on a PS2, so there is that. You can still make sick looking cars as you have 40 layers to mess around with. Not that I can really show, as I'm not artistic. Oh, and this game is offline only. No online bullshit, no microtransactions. Just pure soul. I love this game, seriously. It's amazing. But I have to say, not all is perfect. Starting off, the cameras in this game are bad. More importantly, the bumper cam. Here is a game from 2000, and the camera customization options are something that Genki could take a page out of Codemaster's book, by adding options like pulling the camera back or forward, up or down, and the camera tilt. Additionally, the camera should be more dynamic, like when speeding up, the car should get further from the camera, and changing gears would yank the camera to simulate gear changing. In fact, take the camera from Importuner Challenge. That camera was amazing, but use the camera location and camera angle like you're using right now, because genuinely the visibility in front of the car is amazing, unlike in ITC. But the ITC's camera is kinda loose, and the experience is honestly amazing. The camera shake is alright. I wish that it would start to shake a little bit earlier, but it's a non-issue. I heard that some people had issues with the camera shake, but considering that I was raised on Need for Speed Pro Street camera shake, I would like to see a shake slider that would go up from 0 to 100%, I guess. The option to pick 3 starter cars only is kinda whack. I wish more cars were available from the get-go. Additionally, some cars that are locked are super odd choices. Like, you can't tell me that Cappuccino is a car that couldn't be a starter car. Again, it's a really odd choice. Oh, and why is the wallet size a thing? Throughout the gameplay I had to buy extra cars just to not end the nights with an overflow that gets cut off. It's honestly an annoying feature that either should be completely removed, or at worst should be expanded 100 to 200% in size. While the Wanderers are simpler in this game, and the requirements are well explained in this game, there are a few flaws. For 2 Wanderers you need a certain town on license plates. If you understand Japanese, you will not have an issue. For simple-minded people like me, it was funny going one by one region to find the town that the Wanderers require. More annoyingly, Unbalanced Ishi has wrong requirements. The requirement states that your car needs to have no aero parts equipped, but if you try to race him, it will say that the requirements are not met. Well, you in fact actually do need to have aero parts equipped to race him. That's just funny. And the most annoying wonder is the one that requires 77,777,777 credits accumulated to race him, which for a mid-game wonder is incredibly diabolical. But also seeing that his car has 500 horsepower and is pretty much the most powerful car in the game right now, I think it's actually an end-game wonder that slipped through the QA team. SP system is cool, and I love it, but it currently has one big flaw. You can play very offensive by ramming and grinding into rivals, with rivals losing by far much more SP than you do. It's a crutch mechanic, as you ramming them will also result in the rivals slowing down to the point where they will simply lose. The AI balance though is quite possibly the worst aspect of the game. This is a classic Genki product, so it means that just like when Sam Hyde goes into self-defense mode on a site of a person of different ethnicity, you will do the same when the AI decides to remind itself that it is in a race and rubber bands like crazy. The AI is super easy on corners but difficult on straights, except on two rivals, Shua Shua and Melancholic Angel. Shua Shua is a little bit hard, but nothing that a bit of NOS couldn't fix. Melancholic Angel, on the other hand, very hard. Ah shit, okay. Oh my god. I see. Yeah, no, you're fucked. The RX-8 she drives has 150 more horsepower than you can have on the max-tuned best car, the RX-8. Now you might think, oh, it's Genki AI, they will brake on corner, except that her car is still faster on corners. Even with the parking area racing upgrades, she is still incredibly difficult. Honestly, she really needs rebalancing or the upgrades to be changed, because right now it's just a case of
let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
Speaking of changing upgrades, you see, as much as I have praised the upgrade 3, the big issue is that the fact that level 3 upgrades unlock after Midnight Cinderella, which is the final boss of the early access. So the entirety of tier 3 unlocks are completely useless. If the tier 3 parts were unlocked much sooner, then there would be no balancing issues. Oh, and speaking of AI, just like Sam Hyde killed IDubbbz's career, the AI will kill your runs when switching lanes, especially if you are next to them. The AI has no player awareness and will do anything they can to get into the lane you are in to avoid one traffic car. I wish the rivals had the ability to use the NOS, because then they wouldn't have to ram the shit out of me, but rather slow down, let me pass, and use NOS to get back. Oh, and with that, yeah, that is all that is bad with this game. And even that is me being kinda nitpicky. And I am sure that Genki can fix that. And even if they don't, you know what, I'm fine with it. Now for the part of the video where I turn into an annoying motherfucker and I talk about stuff I would like to see get implemented in this game. Before we talk about what I'd like to see, let's talk about some bugs. The rival introductions should not have traffic, yet they do, resulting in goofy introductions. Traffic needs to move out of the way before the race starts. Why does the car sound only show up on the hood cam? Why is the car RPM different when I look at the sides or while looking back? Why do the special introductions play before I interact with bosses? They should play after I interact with them. Two cars having sex. Two cars having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. I can make a car have hydraulics, not a bug. It's funny. Why does the backfire happen while accelerating instead of when it should, when you switch gears, or more importantly, when you release the gas pedal? I think there are a few more bugs, but I haven't experienced them a ton, so that leaves me with the personal wishlist section of the game, where again I turn into a person that does not know anything about when it comes to video game development. Starting off, picking 2 perks would be cool instead of picking 1. Tires need to have more differences. Right now there is no real need to use anything but hard tires. I think hard tires should have a little bit less grip, and soft tires should have more grip. I would like to see the ability to up the resolution scale up to 200% in the game. You see, I hate the AA, and FXAA on 1080p looks too jagged. The car unlocking system is cool, but I would like to see what car I'm unlocking with a photo and potentially even some basic specs, like the engine type, the horsepower, and if the car is NA or turbo. Simple feature like that could go a long way. Speaking of UI, the root menu should honestly have the save and exit to the title options on the right side. It would save some headaches when it comes to some people not knowing how to exit the game. Additionally, with the controller, when you are in the root menu, I think that instead of the cursor, just make it so the left stick moves the menu left or right instead of the L1 and R1 button. Hell, if Genki needs someone to help them with the UI design, I can gladly help them. Liveries are something I haven't fully touched upon, as I have creative skill issues, but I would love to see the XY coordinates of the quinals that I am applying. Additionally, maybe some sort of a sharing system, like Need for Speed games have. I wish shifting gears on automatic gearbox happened later, or something like a slider to adjust when to shift gears ourselves. Because right now, the cars tend to shift too soon, causing the cars to be slower on automatic than on manual gearbox. And I know that there are people that don't like playing on manual gearbox. A feature I would like to see improvements would be the camera control. What do you mean by that? Well, at this point, when driving, I can just look left, right, or behind. I would like to have a 360 camera view, something akin to Forza Horizon games. Engine temperatures is also something that I would like to see returned, but it isn't really something that I need. And as for final feature, can we have a New Game Plus? Previous games tended to have those, and I think that for this release, it would be cool if we could have something like that, even in the early access for a ton of replayability. Make it so we have to unlock everything in the perk section, except for cars and maybe parts. I want to do a Gigachino run right from the get-go, goddammit. A huge missed opportunity for me is the lack of boss introduction cutscenes. Now, I don't know if this is planned, but Importuner Challenge had the best boss introductions, and I hope to God Genki ends up cooking and makes those for this game, because I believe that they could do it super well. Oh, and by the way, I know, replays currently don't exist, but don't worry, replays seem to be a thing that will be in the full launch. Even with those negatives, bugs and wishes, I can confidently recommend buying this game, as it is a nice return to form where racing games weren't open world festival racer slop with always online. Genki has truly cooked. They saw the dire situation when it came to racing games, and they decided to practically beat the fuck out of other studios in making the best arcade racer. Hell, maybe even racing games in like last 5 years. If Genki fixes the bugs, and maybe adds some features that I want, I can say confidently that with the full release, this will be my favorite Tokyo Xtreme Racer. With that, I will be seeing you again soon, as I have a little bit of grid racing to do. Until then, have a good time.